Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another in the series of our In My Experience videos. My name's Helen Cooper. I'm the founder of the Helen Cooper School of Luxury. And what we believe in is actually sharing of experience, both ourselves as tutors, as a founder with all of our business experience, but also with different business entrepreneurs from within India who have made a real success of something a little bit differently and creating their own premium and luxury brands. So I'm really delighted today to be joined by Mayank Modi, who has an amazing premium menswear brand. We're going to find out a lot more about him and his journey over the course of the next 20 minutes or so. And of course, as always, we're hosted by the lovely Shreya Agarwal, who is a fabulous luxury specialist, luxury branding specialist, and also a content provider and one of our great friends here at the School of Luxury. So thank you both for coming along, Mayank. We're really delighted to have you here, and I'm looking forward to hearing your story. So,
thank you, Helen. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen, for a lovely introduction as always. And I think let's dig in and hear from Mayank. Firstly, Mayank, thank you so much for accepting our invite for this conversation series. And we look forward to a lovely conversation ahead. So, while I was reading through your journey process, it's about you giving up your lucrative corporate job to giving into your dreams of designing. So why don't you tell us more about your journey towards creating your own brand and establishing Mayank Modi as well?
Yes. So Shreya, this was some time back. I'm actually a major in finance and accounting. And I had no idea about designs and how to go about it. But I was working with HP in their finance division. During that time, my mother opened a multi-designer store. It was more with to do with women's, where we had different designers in one store. And I realized there was nothing for men. I did spend some time there after work, but I realized there was nothing for men. And I felt maybe I could, since I have an outlet, I could just try a few pieces and see. And I wanted to do it really professionally. So I actually got a brand name registered even before I could start. And because like we've been taught to do things professionally when in a corporate job, so we got a brand name registered. I did a collection of about 15 shirts, and I remember the kind of research I did, because I didn't know anything about design or fabric. I didn't know the difference between a chiffon and georgette. I used to be confused. So it was that bad. So, but the kind of research I did, I think those 15 shirts were different. Each shirt was different from each other. And I don't think I've done that kind of research till now after that first collection. So I still remember we did a georgette tie and dye shirt, which is bandhani tie and dye shirt, which was a little shirt, I felt it was quite bold for my first collection, but everything did so well. And after that, I thought it's no looking back. And I just wanted to get out of that job and do this full time. But I was holding on to my job for a while so that I could fund my designing. And I did want to do a course to learn the technical bit, but I didn't really get a chance because most of the good courses are full time, and I already had a team in place to work with. So I probably learned the hard way. It was more of trial and error, and it's been a beautiful journey. Yes, a lot of challenges because I didn't know the technical bit. It was starting from scratch without knowing what you're really doing. But I knew where I want to take my brand and what I really want to do with it. So here I am. We have a long way to go yet, but yes, I feel good about it.
Amazing. You say you researched the market, and obviously what you came up with was a fabulous product that would be relevant for the consumer you were targeting.
Yeah.
What did you get involved with?
Sorry?
What sort of marketing did you do to get people to find your brand?
We already had a store. Like I said, it was a multi-designer store, and it was just opened. So, it was a new store for everybody. And during those times, like 5 years back, there were very few multi-designer stores in Bangalore.
Yeah.
So every store was visited by everybody who wanted something designer
Mm.
and something more premium. So I got a good outlet that way, that a lot of people did come to know about the brand and things like that. But it was very small for a while because I was still continuing to work with HP. It's
Mm.
just in the last 5 years when I've quit and I've started this full time, and I worked on various verticals. Earlier, I used to do just shirts.
Yeah.
I was thinking of making premium luxury shirts for men, but
Mm.
now we're doing everything for men, from ethnic to blazers to corporate. And just 2 years back, we also started our women's wear, which is in the name of Asmi.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So so we're
So,
trying to do a lot more with our
Mike,
little
like
knowledge. Yeah.
when you started, with positioning your brand, okay, since you're saying that you didn't have any background when it comes to fashion or branding as per se, right? So, in a competitive market like India,
Mhm.
what was your approach towards positioning Mayank Modi as a premium label? What was your
Um,
thinking about it?
Actually, frankly, I never really compared my garments to anybody, to
Hmm.
any brand available
That's
at
a
the
very
time.
good thing, by the way.
Yeah, so I never really compared. I just wanted to do better than what I did one season back.
Mhm.
Right.
And I know that I have to go one notch higher every season. That
Right.
was my only aim. And of course, I would never follow a particular designer or a particular brand to reach that, but because I feel this segment is still very unorganized.
Mm.
The designer wear segment is very unorganized. Has to be because it's a very personal thing. It's a very service oriented industry, what I could say, because we customize things, and Indian embroidery and clothes are not very easy where you can have an Excel sheet with maths where this is it, and you put things together and you get the formula.
Mm.
Here it's more to do with how you talk to your client. You have to understand them, what they want, what they don't like, what is the occasion. There's no wedding like Indian wedding,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
So there's no wedding like Indian wedding. So there is no limit to what you could do. You could
See, there's no set structure, you would say,
there's
for
no
Indian
set
market.
structure
Yeah.
for Indian market. So it's still not very organized. So I'm just, with the little knowledge I have of my finance and where I've worked, I'm trying to organize it in a balanced way where we also, have a good system in place when it comes to certain things. But also, since it's more service oriented, where we have tailors and masters, it is going to take some time where we're able to get to that level where everything is organized in a very professional way. So I think there's a long way to go for my brand, and I don't really position myself in a particular way. It's just that I want to get one level higher every season. That's it,
Right.
and improve my quality. I don't say it. I'm doing the best. My
Mhm.
quality is the best, because there's a scope for improvement every time. Even if you feel that it's good enough, there's still a scope for improvement. So that's how I have to go. I mean,
What keeps
the
it interesting?
reality, yeah.
So very interestingly, Mike, remember the first time when we had this conversation when I was approaching you to speak about premium and luxury brands, and then we had this good conversation where you spoke about that not many brands understood luxury the right way, or they are actually um, portraying luxury in the right manner, right?
Mm.
So when it comes to luxury, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you when it comes to a brand and you would say, okay, this is luxury for me?
See, a lot of, I didn't want to say about any brands, but a lot of it plays a very, the pricing plays a very important role, is what they
Right.
feel. But I personally feel that it's just not the price or the product, it's also the service and how the product is made from scratch. It's how you treat your employees, what's the working environment, are they happy making the product, because it's all handmade,
Mm-hmm.
and they should be really happy about the product. They should imagine a client loving the product, wearing the product. And then when it comes to client servicing, we need to understand what they require, how they want to wear it, where they want to wear it. So all these things together comes into luxury for me. And pricing is one
Very rightly said.
factor of it. Yeah. Pricing is just one factor, because you price it higher does not mean it's luxury, because in India people have started to understand quality.
Mm.
They just don't pay for it because it's priced at a certain amount.
Mm.
They also look at the quality because they know, they've started noticing the difference between a good and a bad quality, or a good leather or a bad leather, or a good fabric or a bad fabric, because we have all categories here. And uh, everything is also online, so you really can't play around with the pricing much. People can go online and say, I can get this for cheaper, same quality,
Right.
same fabric.
Mm.
So when you're pricing a product, you have to ensure that all these ingredients are in place so that they're satisfied, more than satisfied for what they're paying. I always believe that you should give them more than what they're paying for, so that
Right.
they never feel that they're paying too much.
So this, I feel, the point that you have mentioned in terms of client servicing, and how when somebody who's making the product should actually envision their customer wearing it and liking it, the joy of creating something. And
Yes,
that's when the person who's creating it as well as the person who's wearing it is in a very happy state of consuming that product. And
exactly.
that definitely is a part of luxury. Even for
Yes,
European brands, for that matter, they kind of definitely always portray that the craftsman is very happy doing it. And I
right.
feel like when it comes to the Indian market, we can show more of this.
Mm.
We
Yes,
can show more of happy faces, and we can show, we can actually harper on the fact that how important client servicing is in today's date. And that might actually distinguish your brand.
Mm.
true, true. I think they've already understood this point, because you see so many social media posts where they're portraying their employees, their workers, their masters, how
Yeah.
hard they've worked this season, how many number of hours they've worked, how much time they took to do this embroidery, the kind of intricate detail that they have to go through every time they have to do something. So I think they've started portraying this online, and people have also understood that these things do require a lot of patience and a lot of also from the person's point of view of who's making it and things like that.
I think there's a more direct connection as well. So, a Western luxury brand, yes, maybe making a lot of their products in India, but where's that? It is just a subbed out supplier type of contract. And if they show
Yeah.
people working on it, it's done more as a CSR kind of activity rather
Right,
than
right,
who
right,
is respecting and valuing it. Whereas I think
right.
for Indian brands, you actually have that direct and personal connection that
Yes, yeah,
feel a lot more real, and they are from within your own community, and I think that starts to connect people, so it is more authentic in terms of how people are being portrayed. They're not going to
true,
put on the
true.
smile because somebody from the West tells them you've been happy.
Right.
So,
I Now I think, over the years, especially Instagram, thanks to Instagram, I think um, brands have started to connect in a very different manner with their consumers. Because we've always had artisans around us, we somehow never valued them as much as the amount of effort they put in. Because for us, it was mandatory, the amount of hours that they create a particular design and the amount of hours spent to create that design. But now, when we start talking about it in a different way, in terms of valuing that craftsmanship, I think how people are looking at it is also being redefined, I feel.
Exactly. Yes.
Mind, do you feel that when somebody comes to you as a consumer in the Indian market,
Mhm.
for that matter,
Mhm.
we have different consumer pockets, right? We have the northern consumers, we have the southern consumers. Do you feel there is a difference in the chain of thought when they come and approach you and when you tell the price, or is it very similar how you deal with these two different customer segments?
Actually, that's quite tricky, because I wouldn't want to say northern consumers or southern consumers.
Yeah.
I would just say there are people who are still getting educated
Mm-hmm.
on what the pricing should be, or how the product should look if it's priced in a certain way. And there are clients who are really smart and they know exactly what they want. They know exactly what the price should be. And they wouldn't just go for a product just because it's priced very high, it looks beautiful, luxurious, and things
Mm.
like that. They go for something that they really want, something that suits their personality. They wouldn't just go for something just because they saw it online and they would
Right.
pay anything for it. So there are various kinds of consumers who basically I would say people who are still learning and people who have already know certain things and how to shop, where to shop. Um, they have a budget, so they know, okay, we could probably get this in our budget, or they don't want to squeeze you in where why is it priced so high.
Mm.
And I feel every product should have a story to tell, that why is it priced so high.
Mm.
Because for me, I always trained my staff saying that this is priced at this. You have to explain to the client why it is priced so much.
Mm.
You go to the background, say, okay, this is the time we took for the hand embroidery. This is the amount of effort that went into it. This is the kind of quality of the fabric that we have. These are hand woven fabrics. It took 30 days to just weave the fabrics and things like that. When you put these things together and tell the client, then okay, fine, it's justified.
Mm.
Right.
But if we just say that it's a Mayank Modi and that's why it's priced so much, then they were like, why? It's just a simple black shirt.
Mhm.
So then you have to tell them why. You can't just be ignorant about your costings or ignorant about what you're charging a client. So I think it's not about northern or southern. It's a mix because Bangalore is more cosmopolitan.
Cosmopolitan.
Here,
Right.
yeah, but here in Bangalore, people know exactly what they want and they know what their budgets are. They wouldn't otherwise come to you if they feel that it's not something that they want.
It's
So it's
very,
very easy, yeah, to deal that way.
I think it's really interesting when you talk about stories as well, because there is no story in saying it's a Mayank Modi. It's actually
Yeah,
the story that that consumer then will tell to their friends, because they're putting themselves into the middle of the story by wearing
right,
something
right,
with
right.
values associated to it. It's not about I
Yeah,
paid this for it. It's more where new luxury is really coming from, is that personal feeling of a satisfaction and
exactly.
an indulgence, but also knowing that it's connecting to something a bit wider than that. And that
Right,
is a
exactly.
really strong trend that's coming through. You can't just say it's this brand and therefore it's going to have to cost this amount. It doesn't cost anymore.
True.
Yeah, I think what he's mentioned beautifully is that that educating consumers is very necessary. We need to educate them. It just
Exactly.
cannot be like this is what it is, and you want to take it, take it. Don't want to take it, don't take it.
Mm.
I think it's important that we take the consumer through that entire story, and that's when they feel being part of that story, and then it's justified for them.
Yeah.
Whether should I be part of that brand or not.
Yeah.
So, Mayank, do you have this vision, as you mentioned, that you want to take the brand forward, right? Every season we take it up one notch higher than what it was. How do you envision taking Mayank Modi in the coming years, say 5 years from now? Do you want to make it more luxurious than what it is right now? If yes, what do you think are going to be the major challenges?
Actually, I never think beyond 3 months,
Oh,
for
super.
my plan.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting bit.
Yeah, because you can never predict things, especially in terms of COVID. If brands would have predicted things 3 years down the line, they would have allotted budgets and they would have had these plans. It would have been quite a mess. So also because of that, but from the beginning, I've always thought just maximum 6 months ahead of what I want to do next.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and I do things quickly. If I want to do something tomorrow, it'll happen within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to think long term because then it it becomes a little dragging. When it's quick, you need to do something within 3 months, it happens quickly.
Right.
When you say 5 years down the line, I want to open this store or open a store here, it wouldn't really work because you really can't plan. You never know what will happen then, how the brand is going to be positioned. Because when I started, I started as a shirting brand,
Mm-hmm.
just the shirting brand. But now I'm making everything for men. So I have to go with the flow. At the same time, ensure that I'm taking it to the right direction. So for me, right direction is making it definitely more luxurious, more premium, and at the same time, more niche, but at the same time, not inaccessible to
All
people.
right.
It should be accessible to all. It's just I feel good. For an example, there was one client, and he had done his entire uh, trousseau shopping, but he said I wanted one garment from Mayank Modi, but I it was not something that I could want. I mean, I was able to take it at that time, but I said, okay, you I'll do it for you, no problem. The way he said it, he said he wants one garment for his wedding. And I said, okay, I'll do it for you because you're so passionate about it. You want it. And whatever it is, I'm going to do it for you. It's okay, whatever your budgets are. Since you allocated one garment for your wedding, and I was so humbled. It felt
Humble.
so good. And I was like, I'll do it. I don't want to feel like I'm not accessible because of the
Right.
pricing. It's not really high at the moment. I'm trying to keep it as reasonable and as fair as possible, considering all situations around us. Certain things we really can't control, like the fabric costs have gone up by 30-35% suddenly, in the last 1 month. But still, we try and keep things in control because I don't want to be, something just super exorbitant for no reason. My quality has to match the price.
Right.
That's when it's fair. So yes, 5 years down the line, I definitely want to make it more luxurious and premium. But I wouldn't want to say anything now because I just want to go one step at a time.
Right.
Because you never know where it takes me after 6 months. It might be in a better position or something more to do with another brand or maybe women, children's wear or anything. So I feel is just the next 3 or 6 months is what I plan for. But
Right.
definitely, long-term plan is to be more luxurious, more premium, and also get into the right segment of luxury, calling it luxury. It's a long way to go.
Yeah. Sorry, Helen, we couldn't get you there.
It's like the mindset. So what you've described for that one particular client is absolutely the essence of luxury.
Right.
Luxury isn't just about pricing, as you've said before. It's about being open and thinking first about the client and their needs rather than it
Yeah.
being yours and your brand. So, that's great. It's a lovely story. And actually, that you've bought a very loyal client there, ongoing, who will tell her friends, this is amazing. Look what he's done for me for my wedding. And the reputation builds. I always believe in being generous.
Yes.
People will come back to if you're kind and if you're generous.
100%.
True.
Absolutely.
True.
So, Mike, one piece of advice if you have to give any upcoming entrepreneur who wants to get into the premium or the luxury segment, what would that be?
One advice is just take it one step at a time. Don't be in a hurry to get there quickly because luxury is not something that you can get in a few days. It's a lot of experience, a lot of time that goes into it, and a lot of trial and errors, and to really understand the true meaning of luxury, you have to keep going on and on
Right.
and on. There's no end to it. So you just, like I said, I believe in going one notch high every time. Just take one small step at a time. And if you feel your next collection is not as good as the earlier one, then you're going backwards,
Right.
right? So that's the one really good thing that I could say is just take small steps because taking really big leaping up things will not really help. It'll just probably give you a limelight for a few couple of years. But if you have to make it a known brand for
Sustainable.
years, yeah, sustainable and a classic, which is going to be there for years, you need to take it slow
Mm,
and fast
mm,
together.
mm. Yeah, have some pace, but not be impatient.
Yes.
Mm. Great advice.
On that note, Mayank, I think it's been a lovely conversation with you this afternoon. Thank you so much for sharing with us your valuable insights. And I'm sure all of viewers who will be watching this is going to take something good out of this for sure.
Mm.
Thank you, Shreya. Thank you, Helen, for having me over.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. I've made loads of notes here. I mean, it was fascinating.
Yeah, I could see Helen like scribbling down.
I'm writing as I go through. I think it's fascinating. I mean, some key points that I've pulled out of that is that you saw an opportunity when your mum opened her multi-designer outlet and realized that that was your time. And timing is everything when you're looking at putting a new business together, a new brand. That was a great opportunity and great timing for you. So people need to be alert and open. If they've had a dream at some point, maybe there's a chance that that dream's going to come true, but you have to keep your eyes open and your ears open for those opportunities. So I think that was really interesting. I think it was interesting you said you couldn't take any course because they were full-time and you were already kind of operational. And that's part of what we're doing with our luxury branding and training people in entrepreneurship and the skills of branding and luxury. That it is intended not to be full-time. It's intended to be something that fits in when people are studying menswear as students or working already in their own business. And to respect that, but to give the opportunity for that depth of learning that's very practical. So, you know, maybe if we'd been around then, we could have helped you out. Who knows?
Yeah. Yes.
And I like what you're saying, that branding doesn't end. Just because you've developed a brand doesn't mean it doesn't keep on evolving. It does keep changing. And whilst you can have that sort of far off vision of how you want this to be, every week, every day, every month is really the time scale that you need to be thinking about. And setting a very realistic time frame of 3 to 6 months means you've got certain milestones that you can be hitting. And achieving those things also helps you as a brand owner know that you're moving forward. And sometimes when things are getting difficult, it's hard to see where you've moved forward. So know where you're heading and making those steps is fantastic. So, you know, flexibility in how your brand develops and evolves is the key. And
also like he mentioned that, you know, luxury does not happen overnight. It needs to be taken. It needs to be given that amount of time. Plus, there are just so many aspects of luxury that you can touch on. That it's a never-ending segment. I mean, it could be customer service, it could be the quality of your product, it could be this tiny element that not everybody looks into. So that actually makes your experience with the brand more luxurious. So I'm sure that's something to be taken from today's conversation, definitely.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayank. It's
Thank you.
And to Shreya as well. And thank you to everybody for watching as well. Look out for more in our series of In My Experience videos. You'll find them on our website, and we'll also on social media. To everybody there, good luck, and find your dreams and pursue them. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.